Part 1. Alone in the Rain. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a girl named Lily. Lily was known for her quiet nature and big, curious eyes that seemed to take in everything around her. But beneath her gentle demeanor was a sadness that weighed heavily on her young heart. On a rainy afternoon, when the sky was painted in shades of gray and the streets glistened with raindrops, Lily stood by the window of her small bedroom. The pitter-patter of rain against the glass echoed the rhythm of her thoughts. She watched as people hurried by with umbrellas held tightly, their laughter muted by the sound of the downpour. Lily sighed, feeling a familiar ache in her chest. She longed to join the world outside, to feel the rain on her face and the cool breeze in her hair. But something held her back, a feeling of loneliness that seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. As she pressed her forehead against the cold windowpane, a tear rolled down her cheek, lost among the raindrops that traced their paths down the glass. In that moment, she wished for someone to understand her sadness, someone who could share the weight that burdened her soul. Little did Lily know that rainy afternoon would mark the beginning of a journey through sorrow, but also one of discovery and hope. The days blurred together for Lily, each one a replica of the last. She attended school quietly, her mind often drifting away from the lessons and into a realm of memories. Memories of a time when laughter came easily and her heart felt lighter. One memory stood out among the rest: the day her father taught her how to ride a bicycle. She remembered his encouraging voice, gentle yet firm, as he steadied the bike and cheered her on. How she had wobbled and stumbled at first, but eventually found her balance, the wind tousling her hair as she sped down the street, her father's proud smile chasing after her. But now, her father was gone, taken away by an illness that had crept into their lives like a thief in the night. Lily missed him terribly. His absence left a void in their home, a silence that echoed louder than any words spoken. At night, when the world outside her window fell quiet and the stars peeked through the clouds, Lily would lie awake, listening to the hushed whispers of the wind. She would whisper back, sharing her thoughts with the darkness, hoping that somewhere beyond the veil of night, her father could hear her too. In those moments, she found solace in memories. They were fragile threads that connected her to the past, reminding her of the love that had once surrounded her. Yet, they also deepened the ache in her heart, a reminder of all that was lost. And so, in the quiet solitude of her room, Lily clung to those memories like lifelines, navigating the turbulent waters of grief with each breath she took. One chilly afternoon, while rummaging through a dusty corner of her attic, Lily stumbled upon an old, weathered notebook. Its cover was worn and faded, but inside, the pages held a treasure trove of scribbles and sketches, a forgotten world waiting to be rediscovered. Curiosity piqued, Lily blew off the dust and opened the notebook. There, amidst doodles of imaginary creatures and half-finished stories, she found her own handwriting. Words spilled across the pages like fragments of a forgotten dream, capturing moments of joy, sadness, and everything in between. As she turned the pages, memories unfurled like delicate petals of a forgotten flower. There were poems pinned in the margins, reflections on nature's beauty, and sketches of places she had once imagined visiting with her father. Each entry carried a piece of her soul, a glimpse into the depths of her heart that she had buried beneath layers of grief. But one page stood out, a drawing of a sunflower, vibrant and alive amidst a sea of ink. Beneath it, a simple sentence caught her eye: "Even in darkness, there is light." Lily traced the words with her fingertip, feeling a spark of recognition stir within her. It was as if the notebook had been waiting patiently for her to find it, to remind her that amidst the shadows of grief, there were moments of beauty and hope waiting to be embraced. With trembling hands, she closed the notebook and tucked it under her arm. It felt like a lifeline, a bridge between the past and the present, offering her a glimpse of the person she had once been and the person she was becoming. As she descended from the attic, the weight in her chest felt lighter, as if a burden had been lifted. The forgotten notebook had given her a gift, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was a flicker of light waiting to be found. The days passed, and Lily found herself carrying the old notebook with her everywhere. Its presence was a comfort, a silent companion in moments of solitude. She would often sit by the window, tracing the curves of her father's handwriting and losing herself in the memories that unfolded with each turn of the page. One stormy afternoon, as rain lashed against the window panes and thunder rumbled in the distance, Lily sat huddled in her room, the notebook open in her lap. The sound of the storm outside mirrored the turmoil within her heart, reminding her of the fragility of life and the fleetingness of happiness. Suddenly, a soft knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Startled, Lily looked up to see her neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, standing in the doorway with a concerned expression on her face. Mrs. Thompson had always been kind to Lily, offering homemade cookies and a listening ear whenever she needed it. "Hello, dear," Mrs. Thompson said gently, stepping into the room and closing the door behind her to block out the roar of the storm. "I saw your light on and thought I'd check in. Are you okay?" Lily nodded silently, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. Mrs. Thompson approached and sat beside her, noticing the open notebook in Lily's hands. "Is that your father's journal?" Mrs. Thompson asked softly, her voice filled with understanding. Lily nodded again, her throat tightening with emotion. She handed the notebook to Mrs. Thompson, who took it gently and began flipping through the pages. As she read, her expression softened, and she smiled warmly at Lily. "He was a wonderful man," Mrs. Thompson murmured, her eyes misting over with memories of her own. "And he loved you very much." Tears streamed down Lily's cheeks as she nodded, the weight of grief pressing down on her once again. Mrs. Thompson wrapped her arms around Lily in a comforting embrace, offering silent support as the storm raged outside. In that moment, Lily realized that she wasn't alone, that Mrs. Thompson understood her sorrow in a way no one else could. The old notebook had led her to this moment, connecting her to a friend who shared her pain and offered her hope. Together, they sat by the window, listening to the rain and sharing stories of love and loss. And as the storm gradually subsided, a flicker of light pierced through the clouds, illuminating the room with a gentle glow, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always a friend to guide her through the storm. Part 2. The Garden of Remembrance. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving the world washed clean and glistening under a bright blue sky. The air smelled of fresh earth and blooming flowers, carrying with it a sense of renewal and possibility. Inspired by her conversation with Mrs. Thompson, Lily decided to visit the garden her father had loved so much. It was a small patch of land behind their house, filled with a riot of colors and fragrances. Her father had called it the Garden of Remembrance, a place where memories could grow and flourish alongside the plants. As Lily stepped into the garden, she felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. The sight of the blooming flowers, and the gentle hum of bees brought back memories of warm afternoons spent tending to the plants with her father. His laughter echoed in her mind, a comforting reminder of happier times. She wandered through the garden, her fingers brushing against the petals of roses and the leaves of sunflowers. Each plant seemed to hold a memory, a piece of her father's spirit woven into the fabric of the garden. She could almost hear his voice, guiding her as she moved from one flower to the next. Near the center of the garden, she found a small stone bench, weathered by time and the elements. She sat down, feeling the cool stone beneath her and gazing out at the vibrant tapestry of colors. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of peace settle over her. Reaching into her pocket, she pulled out the old notebook and opened it to a blank page. With a pen in hand, she began to write, her words flowing like a river. In this garden, I find you. In every bloom, in every leaf, your love grows. Though you are gone, your spirit lives on, a light that guides me through the darkness. As she wrote, she felt a connection to her father that transcended time and space. The garden became a sanctuary, a place where she could come to remember and to heal. The sadness that had weighed her down be to left, replaced by a gentle hope that perhaps, in nurturing this garden, she could keep her father's memory alive. When she finished writing, she closed the notebook and placed it on the bench beside her. She stood up and looked around the garden, a sense of determination filling her heart. She would tend to this garden, just as her father had, and in doing so, she would honor his memory and find her own path to healing. With a newfound sense of purpose, Lily set to work, her hands moving deftly among the plants. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the garden as she labored, the shadows of grief giving way to the light of remembrance. As days turned into weeks, Lily spent more time in the Garden of Remembrance, tending to the plants and finding solace in the simple act of nurturing life. Each morning, she would wake with a sense of purpose, her heart a little lighter, her steps a little quicker. One sunny afternoon, while Lily was planting new seeds along the garden's edge, she heard a soft voice call out from behind the fence. Hi there. Need some help? Lily looked up to see a boy around her age standing at the gate. His sandy hair caught the sunlight, and his smile was warm and inviting. She recognized him as Ben, a new neighbor who had recently moved into the house next door. Sure, Lily replied, a bit shyly. She pushed a stray lock of hair behind her ear and motioned for him to come in. I could use some help with these. Ben stepped into the garden and knelt beside Lily, his eyes wide with admiration. This place is amazing, he said. Did you do all this yourself? Lily shook her head, a small smile tugging at her lips. My father started it. I'm just trying to keep it going. Ben nodded, sensing the weight of her words. Well, I think you're doing a great job. Let's get these seeds planted. They worked side by side, chatting about school, favorite books, and the little things that made them laugh. Ben's easygoing nature and genuine interest in the garden brought a new energy to the space. And for the first time in a long while, Lily felt the joy of companionship. As they planted the seeds, Ben shared stories about his own love for nature. He talked about his mother's garden back in their old town, filled with wildflowers and herbs that attracted butterflies and birds. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Lily found herself smiling more and more. When they finished, they sat on the stone bench, admiring their work. The garden seemed even more alive now, brimming with the promise of new growth. You know, Ben said thoughtfully, gardens are like friendships. They need care and attention to grow strong. But once they do, they bring so much beauty and joy into our lives. Lily nodded, her heart warmed by his words. You're right, she said, and I'm glad you're here to help. From that day on, Ben became a regular visitor to the Garden of Remembrance. Together, they planted, watered, and watched the garden flourish. Their friendship blossomed alongside the flowers, each bringing light and laughter into the other's life. Lily's heart still held sadness, but it was no longer as heavy. With Ben's friendship, she found a new strength, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, connections could be made and joy could be found. The seeds they planted were more than just flowers. They were the beginnings of healing and hope.
Part 3. The Gift of Music. The summer days grew longer and warmer, and the garden flourished under Lily and Ben's care. The vibrant flowers and lush greenery created a sanctuary of peace and beauty. As their friendship deepened, so did their bond with the garden, each visit weaving more memories into the tapestry of their shared space. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky blazed with hues of pink and gold, Ben arrived at the garden with something hidden behind his back. Lily, who was watering the marigolds, looked up and smiled at his arrival. "What do you have there?" she asked, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. Ben grinned and revealed a small, weathered guitar. "I thought maybe we could add a little music to the garden," he said, his cheeks tinged with a hint of bashfulness. Lily's eyes widened in surprise and delight. "You play the guitar?" "Yeah, a little," Ben admitted, strumming a few chords. "My mom taught me. I thought maybe we could have a little concert here, just the two of us." Lily clapped her hands together in excitement. "That sounds wonderful." They settled on the stone bench, Ben with his guitar and Lily listening eagerly. As Ben began to play, the soft, melodic notes drifted through the garden, mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant chirping of crickets. His fingers danced across the strings, and the music seemed to breathe life into the evening air. Lily closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. The sadness in her heart softened, replaced by a warmth that spread through her like a gentle embrace. The garden, once a place of solitude and reflection, now echoed with the sounds of friendship and healing. After a few songs, Ben paused and looked at Lily. "Do you want to try?" he asked, holding out the guitar. Lily hesitated, then nodded. "I've never played before, but I'd love to learn." Ben handed her the guitar and patiently showed her how to place her fingers on the strings. He guided her through a few simple chords, his encouragement easing her initial awkwardness. Lily's first attempts were clumsy, but Ben's laughter and support made it fun. With each strum, Lily felt a sense of accomplishment. The music, though imperfect, was a reflection of her journey, filled with mistakes and uncertainties, but also with growth and perseverance. As the evening turned to night, they sat together in the garden, the stars twinkling above them. Lily's heart felt lighter than it had in a long time, buoyed by the gift of music and the presence of a true friend. "Thank you, Ben," she said softly, looking at him with gratitude. "For the music and for everything." Ben smiled and gave her a reassuring nod. "Anytime, Lily. We're in this together." In that moment, Lily realized that healing wasn't just about tending to the garden or clinging to memories. It was about embracing new experiences, finding joy in the present, and opening her heart to the beauty of life. The garden, now filled with the sounds of music and laughter, became a testament to her resilience and the power of friendship. And as the stars shone brightly above, Lily felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that even in the darkest of nights, there was always a song waiting to be sung. As the summer days slipped into the gentle embrace of autumn, the garden transformed into a tapestry of golden hues and earthy tones. The once vibrant flowers began to fade, making way for the rich, warm colors of fall. Lily and Ben continued their visits, finding comfort in the rhythm of the seasons and the steady companionship they shared. One crisp afternoon, while raking the fallen leaves into neat piles, Lily noticed something half buried under the soil near the roots of a large oak tree. She knelt down and gently brushed the earth away, revealing a small, weathered box. Her heart quickened with curiosity and a hint of apprehension as she carefully pried it open. Inside, she found an old letter, yellowed with age and tied with a faded ribbon. Lily's hands trembled slightly as she untied the ribbon and unfolded the letter. The handwriting was familiar, and her breath caught in her throat as she realized it was from her father. "Dear Lily," the letter began, "if you're reading this, it means you found my hidden treasure. I left this letter here for you, hoping it would reach you when you needed it the most." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she continued to read. "Life is full of ups and downs, and I know there will be times when you feel lost and alone. But remember, my dear Lily, you are never truly alone. My love for you is everlasting, and it lives on in every corner of this garden, in every flower and tree we planted together. I am so proud of the person you are becoming, and I have faith that you will find your way even in the darkest of times. Cherish the moments of joy and hold on to the memories we shared. And know that I am always with you, in spirit and in heart. With all my love, Dad." Lily's tears flowed freely as she finished reading the letter. She clutched it to her chest, feeling an overwhelming sense of connection and love. It was as if her father's spirit had reached out to her, offering comfort and reassurance from beyond the grave. Ben, who had been watching from a distance, came over and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. Lily nodded, a mixture of sadness and joy in her eyes. "I found a letter from my dad. He left it here for me, knowing I would need it someday." Ben smiled gently. "He must have known how strong you are and how much you mean to him. It's a beautiful gift." Lily looked around the garden, taking in the beauty and tranquility that surrounded her. The garden, once a place of sorrow, had become a sanctuary of love and healing. Her father's words, like the garden itself, were a testament to the enduring power of love and the strength that lay within her. With Ben by her side, Lily felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her father's love would always be a part of her, guiding her through life's challenges and helping her to grow. The letter was a reminder that even in moments of darkness, there was always light to be found. And so, with the autumn leaves rustling gently around them, Lily and Ben continued their work in the garden, honoring the past while embracing the future. The garden flourished under their care, a living symbol of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. Winter arrived, blanketing the garden in a soft layer of snow. The once lush greenery now lay dormant, waiting for the warmth of spring to awaken it once more. Despite the cold, Lily and Ben visited the garden regularly, their friendship providing warmth and comfort through the long, frosty days. One afternoon, as they sat on the stone bench bundled in scarves and gloves, Ben turned to Lily with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Lily, we've spent so much time taking care of this garden, but I think it's time we start something new. How about planting a tree together?" Lily's eyes lit up with excitement. "A tree? That sounds wonderful. What kind of tree should we plant?" Ben smiled, pulling out a small sapling from his backpack. "I was thinking of an oak tree. It's strong and enduring, just like you, and it will grow tall and provide shade and shelter for years to come." Lily's heart swelled with gratitude and anticipation. "I love that idea. Let's do it." They chose a spot near the center of the garden, where the sapling would have plenty of room to grow. Together, they dug a hole in the snow-covered ground, their breath forming small clouds in the crisp winter air. Carefully, they placed the sapling into the earth, covering its roots with soil and patting it down gently. As they worked, Lily felt a sense of renewal and hope. The oak tree represented a new beginning, a symbol of growth and resilience. It was a testament to the strength she had found within herself and the support she had received from her father's memory and Ben's friendship. When they finished, they stood back to admire their work. The sapling looked small and fragile against the vast expanse of the garden, but Lily knew it would grow strong and mighty, just like the love that had nurtured it. "This tree is our gift to the future," Ben said, his voice filled with conviction. "It will stand as a reminder that no matter what happens, life goes on, and we have the power to create something beautiful." Lily nodded, feeling a deep sense of peace. The garden had taught her many lessons about love, loss, and the power of healing. But most importantly, it had shown her that even in the face of sadness, there was always a reason to hope. As the first flakes of a new snowfall began to drift down from the sky, Lily took Ben's hand and squeezed it gently. "Thank you, Ben, for everything." Ben smiled and squeezed her hand back. "Thank you, Lily, for letting me be a part of your journey." Together, they stood in the garden, their hearts intertwined with the promise of new beginnings. The oak sapling, small and fragile, stood as a symbol of their friendship and the enduring power of love. And as the snow continued to fall, blanketing the garden in a pristine white, Lily felt a sense of contentment and hope for the future. Spring arrived in a burst of color and life, awakening the garden from its winter slumber. The once dormant flowers began to bloom, their vibrant petals reaching toward the sun. The oak sapling, now a bit taller and stronger, stood proudly at the center of the garden, its new leaves a bright, fresh green. Lily and Ben continued to care for the garden, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. The garden had become a place of joy and celebration, a testament to their resilience and the enduring power of love. One warm afternoon, as they tended to the blossoming flowers, Lily noticed something extraordinary. Among the vibrant blooms, a single sunflower had sprouted, its golden petals standing tall and proud. It was a symbol of her father's love, a reminder that he was always with her. Tears of joy filled Lily's eyes as she reached out to touch the sunflower's delicate petals. "Look, Ben, it's a sign from my dad." Ben smiled warmly, his eyes shining with understanding. "It's beautiful, Lily, just like your father's love for you. As they stood together, surrounded by the beauty of the garden, Lily felt a profound sense of peace. The sadness that had once weighed heavily on her heart had transformed into a deep appreciation for the love and memories she carried with her. The garden, once a place of sorrow and reflection, had become a sanctuary of hope and renewal. It was a testament to the power of friendship, the strength of the human spirit, and the enduring bond between a father and his daughter. With Ben by her side, Lily knew that she could face any challenge that life might bring. Together, they had created something beautiful, a living testament to the resilience and love that had carried them through the darkest of times. As the sun set over the garden, casting a golden glow over the vibrant blooms, Lily took a deep breath and smiled. The journey had been long and filled with heartache, but it had also been a journey of healing and growth. The garden would continue to flourish, just as her father's love would continue to guide her. And with each new season, Lily would find strength and inspiration in the beauty that surrounded her. In the heart of the Garden of Remembrance, surrounded by the blossoms of spring, Lily found a renewed sense of hope and a promise of new beginnings. The garden, with its vibrant flowers and steadfast oak tree, stood as a testament to the enduring power of love, the beauty of friendship, and the resilience of the human spirit. And as the first stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Lily knew that her father's love would always be with her, guiding her through life's challenges and lighting her path with hope and joy.